Hey there you guys, welcome back. So this is going to be the video that we go over some of the upgrade choices that is like in a Toll Brothers home, or in this case this is going to be like for the Loralai. Of course prices could have changed and may differ between like the different communities and everything, but just to get started here, like you'll see like all of the engineered wood flooring. This is I think it's like a level 4 or level 6 wood floor. This is throughout the whole entire home. What does not have wood is going to be two places, the primary closet and then the guest elite closet. So other than that, everything in here is going to be just this engineered wood throughout, and that was $30,000 from the builder. I mean, I'd recommend doing this if you're just going to want to finance majority of it, because you can always do it after the fact for, definitely a lot less. But of course you aren't able to finance that, especially if you're going to be, like maybe moving houses after that. But that way you don't have to put all that cost up front to do so. And then here in the front, this front door was an upgrade. This is the 5-panel door, and it's an $800 upgrade. The colors that you see inside the house, like this is pure white that came standard, and then also the white brick on the outside of the home. That's also like standard with the elevation that you do purchase. Each additional switch here is pretty much an additional like $100 per switch. So if you wanted to add a switch, to disconnect the light from something, that would cost additional. And then as we go through here, originally they're supposed to be like 2 bedrooms, but instead this is an option called the luxury guest suite with kitchenette, and this was $17,900 to do. So this does come with like the mini fridge and the dishwasher. So that's nice. The painted cabinets are additional. It's like, I think it's like $600 to $800 for one color if you want to have these painted from the builder. If not, I think stained would be standard. That would come with it. The backsplash here is also an upgrade, as well as this thicker quartz countertop. So standard here would be like the Marlana, very thin Marlana that you will see here in the next bathroom. But depending on which level would be like the cost of this. I think just because it's a smaller slab, this was just a couple of $100s to do for this piece of quartz, and the backsplash as well, just like, about $100, $200 to do the backsplash here. Standard would be the side splash, and then it would just be like exposed drywall here in the back end of it. Like the side splash that I am talking about would be like the side splash that you see in here, but that kind of goes up just like 6 inches. And this is the Marlana countertop that would just be standard there on that side. But it did come with the utility sink and everything. Again, different tiles and everything would cost more. So a tile this size would be additional. Usually only like the standard 12 by 12 tiles in like 3 different colors would be standard. So you'd probably end up upgrading something like that. Like these are the standard faucets, but to have them widespread like this, how they're disconnected from the faucet itself and not like, conjoined, that was an upgrade. To have the whole house like this was, I think, $1,600 to do for all the standard faucets just to be widespread. I just thought like, it'd be easier to clean and all of that when thinking about it. The niches, they did come standard. And again, here are some of the standard stuff here. If you wanted to replace this shower pan with tiles instead, I think that difference there is about $2,500, and then $3,000 if you wanted to add a shower bench. And then here's some of that carpet I was talking about. Like there's only carpet in 2 areas. Again, this is like a level like 2 carpet, so this was also an upgrade. The standard carpets only came in like a lot of the like the beiges and browns. But that definitely wasn't too expensive. You also can upgrade like the padding that goes underneath it for a couple $100 more if you wanted to do so. But definitely They will, ask you for anything and everything if you wanted to upgrade that. There is a wall plug behind the TV that was not an upgrade, just because it came with it. But you want to specify if you wanted it up high or down low, whenever you're doing that for the house. Coming right around here. So normally standard, you would have crown molding that is on top of the foyer. We opted to have no crown molding, which was nice. Just a little bit more modern instead of the crown molding. And then these 2-panel doors are standard for this community for Toll Brothers, so nothing additional there. But again, you can always change up the door styles. So this itself is a flex room. This was another structural upgrade for $12,500. This just adds a lot more living space. This was supposed to be a 3-car tandem garage. So over here to my left, the garage, it's only gonna be a 2-car garage behind this door. But I just thought, the more living space, the better for longevity. But for those that are looking for the bigger garage, cool. But just more living space, I thought was gonna be a little bit better. You can add an additional powder room. An additional powder bath is about $6,200 to do. And I think that would have gone somewhere down here. And then, obviously the floor plan would look a little bit different if you wanted to do that. But you could always add something like that. There was another option that instead of doing that flex space, you could do something called a playroom for $15,650. So you'll see that just a lot of the structural stuff is going to be the most expensive stuff as we kind of go through, minus the wood floors and everything. Because honestly, standard, I don't know why they would do this, but the first portion of this foyer, where the front door is, that would be tile. So it would be tile here, standard, and then obviously the standard 12 by 12 tile, and then right where this little half wall happens and onward would be carpet. So I'm not sure how it would look, carpeted. It would really lose a lot of the feel that you have here. But again, if you wanted to, you could always do it after the fact and find someone, to do that for you, and that is fine. These sconce lights here were an upgrade. It was a part of a package. I believe it was $800 to have both of them and a switch to go with it. So the switch is right over here to those sconce lights. Normally whenever you do lighting stuff, they'll ask you, if you want to do some packages for it, and they'll show you. Standard here would have been a standard chandelier and then no lights beside it. The lights though are about $100 per can light. Okay, so that one can does come standard. It's always nice to walk through the model and then ask which lights come standard. You would be surprised. Here, we forgot to put a can light here, but you can tell how dark it is in this corner. And in here, this little light was going to be the only thing standard, and there's going to be nothing up above for the water closet here. So it would have been super dark if you hadn't done that and added that additional light. So really go through and see what's standard, what's not. Even here inside of this office, these 4 cans, it's $400 for the cans and the additional switch. So that's one of the lighting packages. And it comes with standard, just the ceiling fan that you see that we capped off, because it's the old school looking fan. We don't really need that. We feel like fans kind of gather dust, so we opted to remove it after moving in. You do have that additional plug here right above. And then that one came standard. And this floor plug here is about $180, I believe, per floor plug. They have to do this when they pour concrete. So you have to know where you want to put your desk or where you want to put your couch in the living room ahead of time. And you also have to figure out where you want your Cat 6 cables to go. And the Cat 6 cables are going to be for internet, for wired internet. So if you have a job that requires you to be hardwired in, or you want like the fastest internet possible, you definitely want to do that and figure that out ahead of time. And then as we come in over here, same thing, you have the 4 candle lights additional that we did add for like the $400. And then we add the sconce lights in here too, because this could be, if we were to move out, maybe really actually become a theater room. So we opted to have these in here. And then as we come in over here, thank goodness all these windows in this room are all standard. All the lights are not. Like the 2 pendants hanging above the island were an additional couple hundreds of dollars, to have the pendant lights. If not, there'd be nothing there, which would be kind of strange. The above and below cabinet lighting was almost like, I think it was like $2,000 on top, $2,000 on bottom throughout the whole perimeter of the cabinets here, including the Butler Pantry. That Butler Pantry would not have existed. That's actually about $5,000 to add. So the Butler Pantry would be this area here. And then, of course, what doesn't come with it is going to be like the painted cabinets, which were a couple of hundreds of dollars, the backsplash that you select for a couple of hundreds of dollars, and then this opening into this media room / fitness room that you have over here. So, there's a whole bunch of cost that goes into, if you want to make it absolutely perfect. Even having this second tier of cabinets throughout the entire kitchen is going to be, I think for us, it was $2,600 to do all of the above cabinets. If not, it would have stopped at that first tier, which would have really made the room feel a lot smaller and the ceilings lower. So although we don't put anything up top, it's just for like aesthetics to have those cabinets pushed all the way up. Definitely to have that more custom feel, I would definitely recommend doing that from the builder, just because, you're gonna utilize all that height, or else you're gonna have some trouble just filling up the entire room. Even the way you lay the tile is going to be different. So this is all straight lay, which is standard for the tiles. But if you want it staggered, it'd be like an additional $1 per square foot. Or if you wanted it as a herringbone pattern, it'd be like, $2 additional per square foot as you go through and you figure all that out. Here on this back wall, connected to the living space, you could have had either a 9-foot or a 12-foot sliding door. So the 9-foot door is almost like $9,600. It would have the 3 windows up above, and then the 9-foot sliding door in that dark bronze. Or you could have the 12-foot sliding doors for almost like $15,000, and then you wouldn't have the 3 windows up above just because the way they have to frame out the sliding doors. So it is nice if you wanted to entertain a whole lot outside, or adding like the additional covered porch to extend it a couple feet outside is about $5,100. Or if you wanted like a whole open cabana outside, kind of like a pergola, they would do that for you for $15,650 from the builder as well. But then you don't have to worry about later on getting all that permitted and all that stuff through the HOA. If you wanted to get that additional, pergola out there. This fireplace was about $5,000 for the upgrade. And then standard is up to 0 inches or 6 inches above the ground. Anything else above that would be additional. So if you want to add a mantle or like tile around here, it is also additional. Depending on how big the mantle is, it could range anywhere from a couple of $100s for a smaller piece of wood, up to like another $5,000 if you want a larger structure around your fireplace. But again, please remember that for something like this, if you wanted to put a television above, you would definitely want no mantle or a very low mantle, because you don't want to be craning your head all the way up to see the TV. So underneath the couch here is going to be our other floor plug down below. That was, the additional $180. So definitely want to work out like a lot of like the plugs in the areas that you feel like you would need that. Also in the kitchen, before I forget, you could also add an additional like utility sink, or they call it, I think, like a vegetable sink for $1,600 if you want to add that. It would look similar to the utility sink that you saw in that Guest Elite suite that you saw earlier. You could add it, somewhere here inside the main kitchen, or even just right over here into the Butler Pantry. Or you can actually make the Butler Pantry area a wet bar, and that would be an additional $5,000 if you want to do the wet bar instead. You can also add an additional door to any of these rooms if you, for some reason, want an additional door, like in the Butler Pantry, or in the guest suite. So for some reason, if you wanted to have the additional space and then rent out the room, you could actually, possibly add a door maybe to this side, that back wall there for $1,600 for additional door. And, people can come in and out, possibly just through the side instead of having to enter through the main living space for all of that. So we'll quickly go through to the primary. I think that's the majority of it. I mean, obviously all of these lights here are, $100 per light. Standard are just 4 lights in the kitchen, and then 1 chandelier in the dining area, and then 1 ceiling fan here in the living area. So everything additional, which is like almost 10, 12 additional lights and pendants and everything, were all additional, after going through all the standard stuff. Same here inside of this room, the primary suite. Only that ceiling fan is standard, and then the 4 additional cans were $400 with an additional switch. This freestanding tub was about a $3,000 add-on. So if not, standard would be a framed tub. So that's going to be a little bit more, I guess, like traditional if you wanted a framed tub made of fiberglass. Even like this is Marlana still, but this is thicker Marlana. The thicker Marlana is just like $100 or $200 to have the additional thickness. We didn't want to go with quartz here. That was fine. But the additional Marlana, just a couple $100. Here for the Ultra shower, which is like the 2 shower heads and the bench that comes with it, was $2,625. I know for a fact that it's no longer like $2,600. I remember our sales guy had told us that the prices on that have gone up by, at least $1,000, and they don't even throw in the extra shower head. So you would have to add the extra shower head for $365 to have it look like that. Here in the restroom, we did add like the additional like GFCI back there, those 4 plugs for $100. We also added an additional plug to the closet, so like for a steamer or for an ironing board, that's super important, and that was additional like $100. But definitely you want to think about where all your additional plugs are going to be if you want to do something, or even like here in the primary bedroom, like we have these plugs up high because we want to mount something, like a television here, or even if we don't want a television, we could always put a picture frame, but that way, just for future-proofing the house, for whoever wanted to use it later on. We also got a conduit, so pretty much how we hung up this TV is that cables go up a tube all the way up to the ceiling and drop down through the attic, and it's housed underneath inside of our little dresser there. So I think that's like majority of it. I mean, even moving your fence, a couple of inches, a couple of feet is substantially more expensive. Like as I come out over here, I'll show you, well actually, so I won't show you the fence there, but if you wanted to move the fence from like the back end of the house all the way to the front end of the house, it would be almost $4,000 to do, just because wood nowadays is just so expensive. So it's just very particular. I mean, definitely there's a lot more upgrades once you get down to like even paint choices for the outside of the house, exteriors and all of that. But hopefully that gives you a better idea as far as like what you can do to the home. If you have any questions about like what something may cost, just let me know. I'll try to list some of this stuff out into the description box down below as well. But again, if you guys enjoyed this, please give it a like. And if you loved it, please give me a sub. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.